Hi, Scorpio. This is your December astrology for all Scorpio signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, and I also say Venus. But I remind everybody if Venus is in Scorpio or wherever Venus may be for you, if you're listening to the astrology, when I do Venus, Venus does not come in as love for me. It can create love, but it can also be talking about everything that is uncomfortable. Venus, for me, speaks to us of our sensitivities and our emotional, our mental, and our spiritual, and our soulful selves. Okay? So it's our 4-in-1. And what that does, good or bad, for us, and where we're taking that energy. Right now, you all are coming into a major karmic lesson that has to do with communication. It is definitely going to be throat chakra and crown chakra and aligning it with the heart. Okay? Scorpio, you guys have a way of stinging. The sting, Spirit said your delivery might be very poor this month if you are not learning the karmic energy, the karmic lesson that's going on here. A new way of creative expression is what they just said. A higher understanding of creative expression. You definitely have like soul energy, higher self energy coming in going, I'm trying to teach you a lesson, and don't make me tell you I told you so. Because this energy can very much make or break you this month for December. And it has everything to do with your ethics and your morals and your higher understanding from a higher self, a higher soulful energy of how and what you do with it and where you take it, is what Spirit is saying. And if you're not learning it, it can definitely have problems with self-deception and self-undoing. But it can also completely make you and rise you. It just depends on your free will and where you allow it to go. Will you allow ego? Because I'm feeling the sting, the abrupt sting, because what I'm hearing is abrupt delivery is what I'm hearing, can harm you right now. And what they just said, harm you in areas that hold your responsibilities in ways that can definitely, like I said, it can be a very positive month. It just depends on if you're taking it from a positive level of soulfulness and feeling good about yourself, and are you tripping it into ego and possible narcissisticness, so over self-centeredness. There's a difference between self-love. From self-love, you can still be confident and say no, and this is why, and let me explain, and we can't do it that way, versus just, no, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about you or anything else, and it's going to be this way. There's a difference. And I feel like they're definitely trying to help you learn something in your true self-realization of a higher self trying to communicate. Now, let me just explain. First off, Venus moved into Capricorn on November 25th. And this is your communication zone, bringing extra sensitivity into that communication zone. Now, Neptune went direct on the 27th of November. But just because it went direct doesn't mean that it's all good yet. It's still in shadow. And Neptune speaks to you about illusion versus delusion, as well as where fantasy can smack you in the face with some harsh ass reality. Now, when I get into, let me just walk through them. You have Jupiter moved into Capricorn, which is also your communication house, bringing higher knowledge and abundance. And on the 2nd, on the 9th, Mercury moved into Sagittarius. This is your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your very communication with yourself and the world around you. You have the full moon that's going to take place on the 12th in Cancer. You have on the 20th, Venus finally leaves Capricorn and it moves into Aquarius. Then you're going to have the new moon, the sun moves into Capricorn on the 21st, which again is your communication zone. And you have the new moon, which is going to take place on the 26th. Mercury moves into Capricorn then on the 28th. This may be Sagittarius season, which is for you, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, but communication is trumping you. I'm telling you right now. Communications energy right now for you is trumping you. And it's not necessarily looking like it's working for you because it's a karmic lesson. It can. It just depends on if you soulfully listen. Now, your very first house of Scorpio is yourself, your self-awareness, your physical body, personality, your appearance, your image, your view of life, your identification, your very core illuminating energy. And you have Mars here. That is the abrupt energy, okay? That is the abrupt warrior. You're in full-on power, passion, action, aggression, and fire. Let me show you who I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as it stays in self-love, that's still able to communicate with others and not tripped into ego and narcissisticness. Because when we move it into, let me just pull this up. It's not getting along, flat out, it's not getting along with the energies of Saturn and Venus in Capricorn, of that communication. So you're abrupt, let me show you who I am, but the communication isn't receiving it well. And this is why I said, Scorpio, you guys have a sting. The sting may be, you may want to pull back on that stinger a little bit, because this has some very important energies going on, and the communication is not just with yourself. Mercury's not in retrograde anymore. Okay, Mercury is communicating outwardly. And even though Mercury isn't actually going to come in to Capricorn until the 28th, it still rules that third house. And it's the communication going on with everybody else and how they perceive you. And I know in one form we don't care, and we don't. I mean, how other people perceive us is not our problem. However, if we are doing a poor job bringing ourselves forward, then that's another situation in general. So this is kind of a take two to tango straight, is what I'm trying to get down. Because you also have the Sun and Mercury, which will be in Sagittarius for most of the month, up until, the end when they both move into Capricorn. And they're also not necessarily getting along with Saturn and its rules, walls, and boundaries of these communications. So it's saying there's something here, an old bad habit about how you communicate, that maybe you need to adjust and tweak and illuminate, because it will make you be seen so much better. It'll make you be perceived and viewed and received so much better. It just seems like the sting right now needs to come out a little bit, because there's something here to learn that will help you. And let me just explain to you. In your communication house, you have Pluto, you have Saturn, you have Mars, you have Ceres, you have Jupiter. And then at the end of the month, you'll only be losing Venus, but you'll be gaining the Sun and Mercury. All of that is right there. All of this energy can catapult you forward in so many ways. But if you put the sting down in the wrong place, you throw your stinger on the wrong people, that shit's going to go backfire on you, is what I'm trying to get out. Don't forget, Ceres is also in communication. And Ceres is the threefold theory. It is karma itself. It speaks to you about how you nurture that communication or how you're neglecting it. So if you only care to hear what you have to say, the communication of the outer world is going to let you know, let me just give you that threefold right back at you, and we don't care what you have to say. And that is why I'm saying this. You need to balance this right now if you want it to work for you. Because it's definitely a powerful energy coming in, and a karmic lesson that will help you catapult yourself or throw yourself in the other direction. You're noticing that in all first through the third house. The fourth house doesn't have anything going on in it until Venus moves in. And this is part of what I'm talking about. You want to make sure you've learned this lesson before Venus moves in on the 20th. Because when Venus moves into Aquarius, it's going into your inner emotional security and the roots of who and what you are, the deep roots of the true self, the karmic lessons itself of the true self, and the reincarnation of the very inner emotional security of the home. The soulfulness of what's inside of here, not just the home. It's this. This is where inner emotional security is created. And if Venus is out of whack because of that sensitivity prior to that, then you're going to be out of whack. So you want to make sure you're in balance. It's that simple, because Venus talks to you about what makes you feel good and what makes you feel the resentment, what makes you feel, the taken advantage of. It speaks to you of every feeling that you have to the nines, all the way to like 1 through 10. It's on the 10, okay? So it speaks to you of how you communicate properly or how you don't, and how you nurture it or neglect it. And by the time it gets into Aquarius, remember, Aquarius has a higher mind. It's already connected to the higher self. You don't want it to come in to that higher self energy of that inner emotional security and the true self roots of who and what you are and go, I told you so. That's what I'm trying to save you from. Now, when you get to the 5th house, this is Pisces energy. This is your inner creative energy. This is where the creative expression is actually created. This is where we find enjoyment in life. This is where the pursuit of pleasure comes from. This is also the creativity that comes from your inner child by allowing that inner child to play and have fun. Now, here's where Neptune just went direct and still in shadow. So where are you not allowed to have time to enjoy? Where are you not allowed to have time to have fun, to let that creative expression go, to enjoy and play? Because if you're not in balance with that, it's going to also come right back on that inner emotional security, dropping all the way back to the self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and knocking you off of that energy. This is a very powerful time for you, but it's all about balance. It is all about balance for you right now. Lilith is asking you, are you having time for the soul fire, for the creativity? Because she's talking to Neptune. She's also, like I said, talking to Neptune in a darker aspect. And asking, she might be asking you to just only care about you. Again, balance. This is finding, balance between soul and ego right here, and how to creatively communicate it positively. Now, when you get into the 6th house, this is Virgo. Your everyday daily tasks, your daily routines, the mundane daily tasks. There's people, places, and things in these everyday daily tasks and mundane personalities of everything we do. We consume these energies. Are we consuming healthy energies? Because Chiron is here asking us what we need to heal within these everyday things, these daily routines, our working environment, our daily service, our daily diet, our daily health care. And you need to still be in balance in this, because like I said, you have Chiron here, but at the other end of it, you also have Medusa, which is Eris, trouble, toil, strife, and injustice. So something about the daily mundane tasks and routines, something has been keeping you from getting to that enjoyment of life, that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and a proper communication. This could have everything to do with the people, the places, and the things of energy that you are consuming. And making sure that you're not holding on to the trouble, toil, and strife, because that will only cause more injustice. It's It's like they say, two negatives will not make a positive. Okay, so that's what they're trying to get at with the energy is getting at. Now, as you come into your seventh house, this is in Taurus, and it's directly across from you. The seventh house is the relationship zone. It's where the marriages are. It's the partnerships, but it's also business contracts. It's also, divorces and open enemies. Anything you care about, you have a relationship with, from your friends to your family to your children, your parents, your loved ones. When you have no money, you have a relationship with no money. Anything you care about, you have a relationship with. It is not getting along with your awareness. It is not getting along with your appearance, your view of life, your image, your identification. Because Mars, like I said, is bringing in this very abrupt core, I'm in my power, here I am, take me or leave me. And my point is if you're throwing out that take me or leave me, you might get the leave me. Because independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem is with the people in the relationships right now. And so is the soul fire backing them right now. Okay? That's why I'm saying you need to have balance. Make sure you haven't accidentally tripped into a egotistical core side of energy, because there's definitely something going on that's not getting along with that energy at this time. As you come into the 8th house, where the rules of these relationships are, there's nothing here. But it feels like the whole top half from the 1st to the 7th house was trying to adjust exactly what would be being adjusted in that 8th house. The rules of the relationships, the joint finances, joint efforts, joint romances. Wow. Some of you, it's going to be about sexual energy too. Joint efforts, joint finances, joint resources. What are the rules to the relationship? Every relationship has rules within it. So are the rules fair and just? Okay? But it feels like all the energies prior to that is trying to set up a new form of fixing that in general. Now, as you come into the 9th house, the 9th house happens to be where your full moon is going to take place. Your full moon is going to take place on the 12th, and this is on top of Cancer with the North Node going directly across and not getting along with your communication again. The North Node is teaching you what you have to learn about yourself in order to move forward. This is your higher self going, ethics, morals, higher self, higher understanding, higher urges, higher spiritual and soulful knowledge. And are you letting that higher self lead you? Or is an egotistical communication coming in and trying to take advantage of the situation and just plow down everything and everybody else? Because if it is, that higher self is going to be kicking you back, and literally, I just got thrown back. So that means the higher self would be throwing you back going, I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. So this is very much a time of getting right with your communication in a healthy way. Your heart soulfully connecting with the higher consciousness of the higher self. So it's that throat, crown, and heart chakra. Definitely asking you to get on the higher mind, the higher wisdom, the higher soulfulness about how and what you're doing here. Now, in the 10th and 11th house, you don't have anything going on here. So you don't have anything bringing extra attention to you, good or bad. The only thing you do have is in the in the 11th house of the community. Your larger groups, your friends, your wishes, your hopes, your goals, ambitions, and dreams. Regulus has moved into Virgo, and it's not going anywhere, and the whole time you're going to be alive. Okay? It's just going to be strengthening and growing as it goes through Virgo. Virgo used to be just our detail-oriented self. But now our detail-oriented self has the lion heart in it, which is saying in these larger groups, these friends, these communications of our friendships, our memberships, our community, are they the people that truly help you get right with your soulfulness, the heart of the lion, and what that means to your self-realization, bringing you to your dreams, your goals, your ambitions? It's saying from now on, everything about these dreams, goals, and ambitions and the people in your life is all about going, well, do they have heart and soul that works with my heart and soul and what I want and what I desire? And that's going to be strengthening over the whole rest of your life in these areas of these communities, of these larger groups, these friends. Do they support you? Do they support the self-realization and your inner truths? And as you come into the 12th house, which is your subconscious becoming conscious, your hidden self, it's where we lock away the skeletons and we try to throw away the key. It's our grief, our sorrow, our shame, our self-deception, our self-undoing, where we've self-sacrificed ourselves in negative ways, and then we can't seem to figure out how to heal it, so we try to lock it away from ourselves. And this area happens to be your collective consciousness right now. And it's speaking with sacrifice and commitment. So this is what I'm saying. Throughout the whole board, your higher self is going, get in balance. Your higher self is saying, get in balance. Get in balance with your communication outwardly, as well as your communication inwardly. And where is that taking your higher self to be? Are you listening to that higher soulful self? And listening to where it says, listen to the heart, the soul. Listen to the lion, the heart of the lion for your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. And maybe don't sting as much, because you need to listen to that higher self so that you can really, truly adjust. Because if you're adjusting, this is going to catapult you so far forward and move you in so many wonderful directions. But if you're in an egotistical form right now, it's going to backfire and throw you back so far that you're going to have to climb back up. And it's going to be harder to do it the second time. I love you guys. Bye.